We're visiting with Sam Leavitt here on Big 12 Radio, Big 12 Media Days, quarterback of Arizona State. You know, one of the things that I loved about how the season went for you guys last year was, and I remember talking to Marcus Arroyo about this, was what they put on your plate early in the season changed and evolved over the course of the season to where they asked you to do less and then they continually asked you to do more. And that's where when people are like, oh, they're not going to have Scadaboo, they're going to take a step back. It's like, well, yeah, that's a huge loss. But look at how much Sam Leavitt evolved over the course of the season, how much better he got based on how much they added to his plate. Just give us your perspective on that, because to me, that was a huge part of your success last year.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a really cerebral player, and I've understood the game really well. But, comfortability of playing an entire game and being out there with the fans and, in that environment and then, making some calls and looking at defensive pressures and understanding, flipping protections.
There's a lot happening at once, very fast.
And you just kind of have to, it's really just getting comfortable in the situation and the game slowing down. So the more it slowed down, the more I was able to take over and just continually progress, and that's where you saw the growth throughout the year.
Yeah, your coach was telling us that that's the next step for you, is to really be a coach on the field and have complete control over the offense and check downs and everything else. Where are you at in that process, and how much of this offense can you handle this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's grown, throughout spring ball. It improved a lot. Going from last season till going into spring ball, I kind of, I got way smarter, stronger, bigger, faster. But, just understanding of the game definitely grew. And then it was tough early on. We had new wideouts and players weren't playing as well as I wanted them to. They weren't in the spots I needed them to be in. So, and then we progressively got better. And it took about 7 practices before we really started rolling. But the last 6, 7, 8, where it showed a lot of growth within them. And then I was able to really, expand, making checks and getting to different plays because they finally understood the basic system. So then I could, progress from there.
Yeah. Do you think it made you better the last 2 games playing without Tyson? Obviously, you want to play with the best players, and it hurt the team. But I think it made you a better quarterback to be able to have to play without your best weapon?
I think there was a couple things that were good and a couple things that were bad. I was able to make some plays because, maybe guys weren't open, so I had to kind of extend a little bit more. But then it made me play out of rhythm. So I don't want that to be a factor in any of these other games where, I got to play out of rhythm when guys are open because I feel like, I got to do it all myself.
Sam Leavitt here at Big 12 Media Days. You said bigger, stronger, faster. Coach referenced that as well, that everybody's bigger, stronger, faster. What was the off-season conditioning program like for you guys at Arizona State?
Yeah, I mean, we have a really good program. Shout out to Coach Joe and Cece. Just the way that they approach everything, developing our, just overall cardiovascular endurance from the very beginning, getting into eccentric load, getting really strong at the early stages of the off-season, because we're so far out from the season that we don't have to, be our most explosive selves. That's kind of where you put on the weight, do things like that. That's where your body hurts a lot more. And then progressively, transitioning over into some more speed stuff, dynamic movements, and, you develop the strong base and then, add the speed and agility into it later. So we went about it in a really good way, and I feel like I'm in a really good spot and along with the rest of the team.
How much has your life changed over the last year?
Just in terms of everything?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like
everything feels right.
You've arrived in a sense, right? I mean, there's been so much written about you this offseason. I mean, last year it was like, who's going to start a quarterback for Arizona State? You really, you took the bull by the horns. Has your life changed at all in last year?
I mean, yeah, the fame and
you probably could walk around Tempe last year, and now you probably can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little bit different for sure. But I don't look at stuff like that so much. It's really just I've had such a good base from early on, because of my family.
Yeah.
My dad, my mom, my brother just instilling that in me. So it's really always been about the work ethic and beating myself out from last year. So that's kind of my perspective every single year. And then the other things are great. You get noticed here. You might get some free food or free round of golf or something. So it's definitely
might.
Yeah.
My boy better not be paying for anything in Tempe right now. Are you kidding me?
Hey man, that's the plan.
I love the way Coach Dillingham embraces social media, and like he was telling us that he'll send you guys tweets or articles, and hey, they're saying this about you. Not to go to your head, but to make you guys work harder, to live up to those expectations and exceed those expectations. So can you elaborate on his thought process and how you handle it on the other end?
Me and Dilly, he just really tries to talk smack to me. So
Okay.
that's our relationship, He's telling me I suck during routes on air, and I turn around after I throw a good ball, might blow him a kiss or something like that. Tell me I'm going to throw 2 picks at practice. So it's just another person to compete with. That's what I love to do. That's what he loves to do. So he has a great approach about it.
And you kind of already answered this, but how do you stay hungry and humble after the season you just had and all the hype around you and this team?
I mean, for me as an individual, we didn't accomplish what I wanted to do. I didn't play as well as I wanted to do. And I feel like I never will. I feel like I'll never accomplish what I want to accomplish. I didn't feel satisfied after I won state in high school. I didn't feel satisfied after I won Gatorade Player of the Year and got my 4th star. So, nothing ever I feel like is going to satisfy me. And I guess it's really just becoming the best version of yourself, and you're never going to achieve that. So why would the work ever stop?
When we talked to you during the season, you told us, pretty directly that you have career aspirations to play on Sundays, to play in the NFL. Who are some of the guys you look up to and kind of model your game after that played in the NFL or play now?
I really don't model my game after anybody. Like, I don't view it like that.
Okay.
I do look at a lot of mechanics. So I'd say I look at a lot of like Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen. You look at some Pat Mahomes stuff, and he's just so hypermobile. Some Tom Brady stuff because he's the GOAT, and you got to look at him.
Yeah.
But
He can move a little bit better than he could, though.
a little bit, little Joe Burrow as well. So I like to look at mechanically sound and try to match some things that I do with them.
One of the Scadaboo did so much. I know he was such a huge part of the offensive ecosystem. One of the things that I think that's really going to be missing, aside from all of the things, would be, it's like an outlet in the receiving game. He was the number 2 receiver on the team last year.
Yeah.
Is that Kanye's game? Like, what? Tell me where that outlet gets fulfilled, because that was so much hidden yardage, quote unquote, for your team last year.
For sure. And a lot of those yards, came from man answer plays where he's really just running away from someone, and making a play. But that's going to come from control passing, and it's going to go throughout the rest of the receiving core, along with, a Raleek Brown or a Sip and someone like that. So I'm really not too worried about it, and those yards are going to find itself somewhere else.
All right, let's get to know Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt. What's your perfect off day? Okay, let's say you've got no meetings, you've got no lifting, just you. Perfect off day. What would it look like?
Just me, perfect off day. I'll probably wake up, probably like 11, 12.
Okay.
Get a coffee, get some breakfast, go hang out by the pool, go wash up, go play a round of golf, come back later that night, go get some food. I can't hang out with anybody.
Yeah,
you can.
Absolutely.
You can.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's your off day.
Play around. Well, then I'd have everybody over to my house.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Pool day, go play some golf, come back, go to dinner with everybody, and then just hang out with the guys, kind of mess around, play some video games, try to compete in something, and really just have a good time with them.
Do you ever actually get a day like that?
Sometimes, yeah.
Have you ever slept till noon?
For sure. Over the 4th of July break.
There we go.
Definitely had a couple days where I did.
What's the most important thing your brother has ever told you?
I'd say it's not one thing. I'd say it's just the mindset of, you got to go get it every single day. Having a chip on your shoulder where, it really is the thought process of, as bad as it's going to sound, it's F everybody else. It's about you.
Yeah.
Get to that spot by yourself, the work that you put in, the mindset that you have. That doesn't mean that, you don't bring along other people with you, but it's just that mindset that gives you the motivation every single day. And the way that he trained and the stories that I heard about him, just it gave me a lot of confidence in myself because of the way that I trained, and that all stems from him.
Well, I'll give you a chip from me. I picked Baylor to win the Big 12 this year, and I picked Sawyer Robertson to be Player of the Year this year. So go get it. Get it.
Okay.
He's like, okay, challenge accepted.
Thank you, Sam. Take care.
Thanks, Sam.